What is up, all my dorks, nerds, geeks, and gamers? It's your host, Ghost here, and I'm joined with...
NikeY43.
And you are watching another episode of the Dorks Den Movie Minute. Today we are looking at Loki, Episode 1. It just dropped today. Okay, before we even start this, I gotta start off. Spoiler warning, but this show is freaking amazing, guys. I want to say right off the bat, amazing chemistry with Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston. I knew the chemistry was going to be good from the trailers, but man, in the episodes, it's so much better. Like, they play off each other so well. The jokes are hilarious. And that's the other thing. For me, this is a pure comedy series. Like, this is a comedy series first, and then a sci-fi time travel show second.
Yeah, but I feel like it's gonna take a dark turn later on, or we're gonna have a dark twist.
I think so too. I think I can see it coming, but let's get right into it, guys. All right. So very first thing that happens, we pick off right at the end of Endgame, not the end, but the end of Loki's story.
During the time travel when they're in 2012 New York.
Yes, where the Tesseract rolls over the ground.
But yeah, we get to see Robert Downey Jr. get smashed by the Hulk again.
Yep.
Gets me every time.
Yes, Loki gets teleported to wherever, somewhere on the Earth.
Or wherever.
Who time travel multiverse?
Somewhere where there's a lot of sand.
We have no idea.
Yeah, somewhere where there's a lot of sand.
But he shows up, he gets on this rock, and he tries to convince these people. You know, he does his Loki thing. You know.
And they don't can't understand him, so.
Yeah. Then the time variant association or society, TVA association, I think. But they show up and they capture Loki. They take him.
They just don't capture him. They make him look like a fool. Because Loki's still having that mindset of like he's God and he's just badass. I just thought it was funny because when she hits him with that whatever that thing is, and he's just
the time eraser,
and he's just.
He's got a slow-mo whips going.
And I was like, dang, she just messed you up, Loki. You better watch what you say.
And she said something about you feel all the pain, but
you're going 1/16 of the speed, but you're feeling all the pain as in real time.
Yes, yep.
Oh man.
So yeah, he gets knocked to the ground. She puts a collar on him, and this collar can control him from this point on. In time. So yeah, if they need him to listen, they will rewind him. If he tries to run away,
what was he called? Like the time looper or time jumper or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. We get to the time variant association, whatever it's called, society, whatever. And then we learn the story about the 3 Time Lords and how all these multiverses were fighting for the same timeline at one point in time. And that led to them creating one solid timeline, which is the MCU that we follow and love.
It's the ancient timeline.
But when Loki got the Tesseract and disappeared, as we know this with Endgame, if you watch that movie, the Avengers did the same thing. Once they took the Infinity Stones that started making these branches in reality that have to be cleaned up or everything gets destroyed. So,
yeah, because I think it's a good point is we're showing like the first time break of the ending of Endgame now.
Yeah, in the MCU.
We're showing now where the timeline is splitting off. I think it's a good part.
Yes.
Because, we get through the episode and you learn that, basically, the Avengers were doing what they were supposed to be doing, going back in time and doing this.
Yes.
Loki escaping with the Tesseract at that time was not
a part of the plan, yeah.
So, and then, I think it's where it picks up.
Yeah,
when he starts talking with Owen Wilson.
Yeah, but then he goes through. He's got to go through the training, and he goes into a room. First he goes to a metal detector, and they're like, "Are you a robot?" And they're like, "You have any metal on you? You have to go through this metal detector." And he's like, "Well, what if I am a robot?" And I'm like, "No one's told me. Like, what if I am?" And he's like, "Well, then you'll melt from the inside, and that'll be it." And he's like, okay. So then Loki
makes this whole dramatic standing and he's just
Loki goes through this thing, takes a picture of his soul or whatever, his life essence, so they can track it. Then he goes into this room and they're like, "We need you to sign. This is everything you've ever said."
They try.
Which is the scene you've seen from the commercial 1,000 times. It's a great little gag. It still makes me giggle every time I see it. It's hilarious. But he ends up signing it. Goes on to the next room. Which is the pick a number room. There's if you've ever been to an old meat deli, they have the tickets you can pull, and they say, you know,
Or like going to the BMV.
yes,
And
BMV, yes.
And you pull your tickets.
You pull a ticket and you have to wait in line. Loki does the same thing, except there's literally only 2 people.
He makes a big scene about it.
Loki being Loki, he feels he's above, you know, everything, and if he's not above it, it's just a blemish on the path of his greatness.
Yeah.
So, which is awesome. I love that about Tom Hiddleston's Loki, and
he's definitely the cocky 2012 version.
Yeah. And he pulls it perfectly in this series, and it's so good. Such great acting on Tom Hiddleston's part. And also, I want to say the cinematography of everything you see is so it's surreal. Like the lighting, the style, the everything.
It's actually got Fallout reminiscence.
Yeah.
To me, like playing Fallout with the way it's got like that 50s, 40s
Yeah, it's got a 50s, 40s, but it feels very
Cold War.
futuristic.
Yeah.
In the same time.
Because when he's in that ticket booth and he's waiting, and that's when he looks at the TV screen and describes the 3 timekeepers and the ancient timeline and all that good stuff.
Yes, you get all this backstory. And then after that, we cut to Owen Wilson, who is in 1776 or something like that.
1858.
Yeah, 1858. He's in a French church with Joan d'Arc windows and, you know, old stained glass windows and all that. Which plays into the story because Joan of Arc is a good metaphor for Lady Loki in the comics, because she's usually portrayed as a bad guy who's doing the wrong thing, but usually Lady Loki's doing the right thing just the wrong way.
Yeah.
So that's a good foreshadowing for Lady Loki. Later on in the episode, we find out why.
Because what we learned out is you know, time passes how it's supposed to, but then they have things called time variants, and that's what Loki's become when he's taking the Tesseract, and he wasn't supposed to. He has now become a time variant.
Yes.
That's what Owen Wilson they start leaning to in that when he's in that church and all.
Yeah, they're looking for a time variant
variant
because this person is going around and just killing all these TVA agents.
It's a very dangerous one.
Yes, and making and it's ruining time. So what they do is they go through, they try to solve what they can, and if they can't solve anything, then they take these things called reset bombs, and they set them in there, and they set them off, and it resets the whole timeline.
Yeah, it's not like the Men in Black. It's a little ching. Yeah, it's not one of those.
So yeah, and then then we cut back to Loki, who's still in this area. We get a little cartoon with the clocky thing, whatever that character was, voiced by Tara Strong, who is an awesome voice actress if you guys don't know. But yeah, we get a little animated segment there, and then Loki and Owen Wilson meet for the first time in this elevator. He comes up to him and he's like, I want to talk to you.
Yeah, because earlier on he had someone come to him and let him know that Loki had been apprehended.
Yes.
And then that's when Loki's in that courtroom talking like this judge, basically.
Yes.
And she's giving him the what for, and because he's a bad person, and he's...
Which, by the way, the judge is actually King the Conqueror's wife, if you guys didn't know that from the comics. That is his wife in the comics. Eventually she does get tied up in some of this, and that does lead to King to Conquer. If they do that in the MCU, I don't know, but it's there if they want to.
They could lead up because they were going to basically reset Loki, but Owen Wilson saves it because he needs help basically catching this other time variant.
Yes.
He's already got a plot with Loki.
Which he lets Loki know. He says, well, Loki's like, well, who are you looking for? And he's like, well, we're looking for you, a version of you. Like, we don't know.
He goes, we're looking for you.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't know what type of Loki it is or where it's came from, but it is a Loki who's going around killing all these time variant guards. Alright, after that... well, then we have him showing the videos of the Avengers to Loki on the screen, showing him his memories.
I want you to help us fix it.
Yeah, that's when he takes him to that room and they start.
I need your unique Loki perspective.
Starts asking him all these questions and.
Do I get a weapon?
Yeah, shows him his past,
he
present, and his future. What could have happened if he would have stayed in that time.
Yeah, he's just wanting the truth from Loki. He keeps asking those questions.
Yeah.
Do you really like hurting people? Because then he starts playing back,
Yeah, he just wants to know if Loki's truly a bad guy. Like, Because here's the thing: is everyone believes Loki's a horrible person. Everybody.
Yeah.
Even like
Because this is the 2012 Loki.
There's now 2 people in the MCU that don't think Loki's a horrible person: Thor, and now Mobius, or however you say it, Morbius, or whatever his name is, Owen Wilson's character. He literally wants to be friends with Loki. Like, he trusts him more than I think Thor would.
Yeah.
Which is surprising, because Thor's about like the only other person who would even trust Loki to begin with. So I don't know why he trusts Loki so much, but he does know time. So maybe there's something that we don't.
Well, he makes very. He's like, not only do we know your past, but he goes, we know your future. We know your entire life.
Yeah.
And he makes it. He says it a bunch of times. Though he goes, time passes differently here in the TVA, and he goes, and he asks him like how long, or when they're having that sit down talk or that interrogation, whatever you want to call it, but. There's a few times Loki makes advances at him and he hits him with that little
rewind thing, yeah.
But then they're going through and he's showing him, him doing his killings and seeing like he's look at you enjoying this. Then he shows him
his mom
dying,
which hasn't happened yet to this Loki.
Yeah.
But it will to our Loki.
Yeah. When he shows him that the timeline, if it would have went like it should have, it actually shows Loki giving basically them the right direction on where to kill his mom, and he didn't know it.
Yeah.
And I think that's when it really gets to him, because the only real person he loves was his mom.
But there's one scene I want to point out here that really stuck with me that I think will be a bigger payoff later in the series, much later in the series. Now remember, this Loki has never met Thanos. This Loki has never died by Thanos' hands.
No, he's never died by Thanos.
They show the scene where Loki dies by Thanos' hands, and this version of Loki has this look of pure like revenge, like I'm gonna get this guy back for killing me in this past timeline. And I don't know if anyone else caught it, but like it was like a legit moment of him walking to the screen and like really contemplating.
Well, I think he had so many things, because like he's also in this TV and he makes it right, because he gets the Tesseract. He escapes at one point.
Yeah, he ends up getting the device that rewinds and all that.
Yeah, because he pickpockets it and he goes off and stuff.
Yeah.
But he ends up meeting up with this one dude that works there and threatens to gut him like a fish, and the dude doesn't know what he means. Yeah. But he ends up pulling up the drawer and he's like, give me the Tesseract, and he gives it to him, but then there's all these other Infinity Stones.
Yeah, there's
and he's like
every single Infinity Stone in there.
And that's when he really starts to learn, he's like, so this is really like the greatest power of the universe, and they're like, yeah.
Yeah, nothing works here. Your magic doesn't work.
Like this is it. This is where it ends.
Yeah, this is where power ends. This is
it's not like Dragon Ball Z. This is the power cap, right?
Yeah.
The TVA's power cap.
Yeah. So yeah, but even though Loki pickpockets that thing and he runs around the TVA for a little bit, he can't go anywhere because he's still stuck in the facility itself.
Because he ends up making his way back to the room, and that's when he watches himself die.
Yeah, because he's like, I have no idea.
But then Owen Wilson comes back and talks to him, and
yeah, because at this point they're ready to erase him. At this point they're done with him. He's been already caused too much mischief, and they're like, all right, we're ready to erase you. And then Owen Wilson's like, well,
that's when he lets him know that they're chasing the time variant and that they're chasing him.
Yeah, we're looking for you, Loki. And that's when it actually ends for Owen Wilson and Loki's character there. We then cut to a different time period.
Or maybe that was the 1858.
It doesn't matter. Either way.
Whatever, one another time.
In the past, yeah, that's all you need to know is in the past.
When we get to see you see the TVA people show up.
Yeah, TVA show up to another report of activity going on. So they're looking around for whoever is doing this Loki that they're looking for. They see this cloaked figure in the field. It's in
in the distance.
Yeah, out in the distance, and they go to chase her down with their eraser sticks. They pull them out. I love these things, by the way. The sound they make, dude. Those things are sick, like straight Star Wars. But they pull them out, and they go to take out this figure, and she just drops these lanterns and catches them all on fire, and they sit there and burn.
That's what I was hitting at earlier when I said that this show, like, it's humor and comedy, based. But it's got a dark twist, because I thought it was a great way to bring him in, because she set them on fire, and I was like, that's that's a straight evil person. Because not only are you killing them, but you're wanting to see them suffer.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's,
we don't know who it is.
Yeah, who it is, but whoever it is, they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like they are a truly evil person, which I thought was great for showing on Owen Wilson's part when he kept asking Loki, he goes, "Do you enjoy hurting people?" Because he knows what a truly evil person is, and that's what this time period is.
Yeah, and well, maybe that's why he's asking them as well, because maybe this Loki is much eviler than our Loki. Maybe she's just like 10 times, he or she is like 10 times worse. Who knows? But yeah, that's episode 1. Oh yeah, another thing we missed that's not really that important, but still cool, is Loki is D.B. Cooper in the MCU. So like,
and you learn out that it was a bet between
him and Thor.
Yeah, Thor and
and the reason he never got caught is because he disappeared to the Rainbow Bridge, so never got seen again. But yeah, that's another Cliff Note little thing that happens randomly.
Yeah, and then actually the beginning when Owen Wilson makes his intro, and then he's talking to that kid and has like this really cool iPad thing. But he makes a reference to the devil, and they look at the glass, and I was like, oh, Mephisto.
Mephisto, yep.
I was like, instantly there, I was like, alright, there's no denying. Mephisto is now in the MCU. I'm 100% sure now.
He'll be coming eventually.
Like, it's not going to be like just straight, episode 2, we're just going to get all Mephisto. But now I think we're going to get the slow
build up.
Just like what they did with Thanos.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. I think it's what now we've got Mephisto, which I'm excited.
I think so too. I think that's
because I think if that's the route they're going, he's a key to really bring all that time travel,
everything together. Well, and that's the other thing is the very first thing they hinted at in this episode was Secret Wars, with the multiple timelines going to war for the singular timeline event. That could still happen. That's still to come. Like, wait till you guys see Secret Wars. I'm telling you, that's the next huge.
That's the thing, because like what we saw them do the release of all the future, movies and stuff coming out.
Yeah.
And so we got Fantastic Four
Yep.
on the way, and it's like, yeah,
it's gonna be awesome, guys. All right, so final verdicts. Loki, favorite of all the Marvel series so far. That is squarely on Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson's shoulders.
Yeah. I give the episode a solid 9. Not a full 10. But I give it a 9 though.
I give it an 8. It was good. I think it needed a bit more action for me to give it a 9. Just because it was more build up than anything. We still have no idea what the actual threat is. Or even how. Like, there's a whole lot of questions. We still have no idea what's even
No,
going on.
I agree with you on that, but I thought, even though it was slower paced, but all the points I did hit on, they hit on it
Yes,
perfectly.
yeah. Acting was great.
Yeah.
Setting was amazing. The look of it. The CGI even looked great for a TV show. Like, blew me out of the water when they showed the shot of that city and all the floating cars and everything.
It's like TVA Corporation.
Absolutely beautiful. There is a Stan Lee cameo. If you look really closely, guys, in this portrait, there's this painting portrait. You can actually see Stan Lee with his bushy beard and his glasses with a robe on in one of the painted portraits. So there is a Stan Lee cameo. But yeah, I'm going to give it an 8. Good start. I'm looking forward to wherever they take the series. I want to see who the villain is.
Excited.
I want to see how they tie in Loki. Or is it just one Loki we're going after? Is it 13 Lokis we're going after? Who knows? But yeah, a lot of multiversal hopping that's going to start going on, a lot of time travel. That's going to be really fun to see.
I'm excited. I can't wait. So.
Alright guys, so that's what we have for you. Leave your comments down below what you guys thought of Loki. If you want to keep watching these episodes, keep it right here on Dorkston. I've been your host, Ghost, joined with
NikeY43.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Adios, guys.
What do you want?